Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are in the world right now, listening or watching. It's your boy CIZZY, you dig, live action, Kansas City, Missouri, with a Kansas City citizen native as a guest today, which I know y'all like to hear because a lot of my listeners are 816-913 babies. So I'm excited. We're here with another guest, and the Culture Talks podcast is back in live. So what's good, Monae? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kiara Monae. I go by Monae, though. I'm from KC. I'm 20. Yeah, that's me.
Hey, lit. You know what's funny is like when people say they're 20, specifically the age 20, it always sounds like they're about to add a number to that. They're like, I'm 20, because like you got to say
Yeah,
20.
I'm like, I
You're like,
wish I was 21.
He's like, that's all I got for you. That's all I
Yeah,
got for you.
that's it, guys. Just
Hey,
for
it's
right
lit.
now.
Where are you right now, by the way? That looks like a dope background. It looks like you're in like a art store or something.
Oh, I'm in my room.
Oh, sick. Okay.
These are a few like drawings and paintings. This is actually from an artist. This one, her name's Michelle. She's a dope artist from KC. This is from another artist. His name's David Fleming, another dope artist from KC. And then these are just like old anime drawings I used to draw and stuff. Yeah.
Lit. I want to talk about anime actually real quick before we jump into the real question. So if you were to suggest to somebody who is a anime virgin, myself, what would you suggest to watch? Because like I kind of feel like I'm left out of a lot. Like I feel like I'm tuned into everything in the world. Like my family's from different cultures, so I'm tuned in with Africa, tuned in with different music from all over the world, because I got experience with that. I'm tuned into obviously hip hop culture. I'm tuned in, which is like the majority of culture in the world is hip hop culture. So
Honestly.
like I'm tuned in with sports, so I'm like up to date on all that. But like the one thing that I feel like, especially to people, black folks and families, like immigrant families, like kids who grew up like first generation American, are like super into anime. I don't know why. But like I'm not saying I don't like it because I haven't watched it, but I'm just saying it's so interesting how big of a part of like black culture that is, and people don't even realize it.
Yeah, I agree. Me and my little sister, we went to the mall today, and we were literally just talking about how Asian, like kind of Asian culture and black culture are kind of like the dominant cultures throughout pretty much America, but mostly throughout the world.
I mean, what, I'm glad you said that, because me and the homies were talking about this. India and China, well, let's start with China. China, I don't know how many billion, but I think like close to 2 billion people, or maybe more. They literally have like a quarter of the world in their country. India, same thing. Like I think over 1 billion people. So right there, just in India and China, we already have literally like 3/4 of the world.
Yeah.
Before you get to anywhere else. So like we were talking about how ignorant someone has to be to like not want to learn about other people's cultures, and to like not want to step out of like the box of America only, because it's like, yo, son, are you really not going to consider the rest of the world, like literally the rest of the world? Like
America's
literally,
like this big compared to the earth.
Exactly. So it's funny, but like big facts. I mean, if we were to look at it, especially like number statistics wise, I mean, first and foremost, black culture, hip hop culture, whatever you want to call it. Like black culture is hip hop and basketball culture.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. Yeah. But like black culture definitely influences like a crazy amount of like the world in terms of fashion, dance, speech, like outfits, like hairstyles, like everything, like really. And you can deny it if you want, but just go do the research if you listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
yes,
everybody's trying to get some type of black culture in them or around them. It's like, no.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you got to be born with it, man. You got to be
exactly. Gotta be born with this shit.
I mean, or you can pay us in rent. You know what I'm saying? Like you can rent a little bit. But nah, man. So I want to ask you about KC Mo. So are you born and raised KC Mo? If so, how was that experience growing up? Like, how do you feel about the city? Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, I was born and raised Kansas City, Missouri. For most of my like childhood, I grew up in like the Wyandotte area. I went to this school, the small school called Silver City. It was like right by my grandparents. Me and my sisters would literally like just walk up a hill and it was right there. So like I'm kind of used to like the small town feel of Kansas City. Like I'm more so just now getting into like the city part of it. Like, yeah, like going downtown and just kind of like exploring that area. Because my mom actually has a restaurant down on 18th and Vine, so that's kind of just opened my eyes up to how big like KC actually is, you know.
Facts. What's the name of the restaurant? Shout it out real quick.
It's Soiree Steak and Oyster House.
Oh, that's your people's?
Yes, that's
Lit.
my mom. Yep.
Lit.
Yes.
Yeah, folks. Go if you live in Kansas City, Missouri, or you plan on coming to visit soon, go ahead and tap in 18th and Vine first and foremost. Great area, a lot of Black history there.
Yes.
And then on top of that, it's in between downtown and like Northeast neighborhood, which are historic areas in Kansas City first and foremost. So go check that out. And also, now you guys know it's Monae's people's restaurant, and it's lit.
Yes.
Did you like when did she open the restaurant?
It's been about a year and a half, but we had one location in Smithville, Missouri, but it was kind of dead up there, so we found a better opportunity like where we were more comfortable anyway, so it just all worked out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's lit. That's lit. All right, what's your favorite thing to order when you're there?
Probably the pasta paseo. It's like an Alfredo pasta with like shrimp, chicken, and andouille sausage. It's so good. With like some little Cajun spice. Yeah. It's really good.
I'm not gonna cap. I might pull up like literally on my day off of work or maybe right when I get off. Yeah,
and we got brunch on Sundays.
Oh, I'm in there like swimwear. Yes. Hold up now.
From 12 to 5. Yep.
Oh yeah, we might have to pull the whole family through. I might have to bring the squad. Bring the squad. Well, that's lit. We just found out something new. That's exciting.
Yes.
But that's funny that you say that because I feel like a lot of people until they really like actively and intentionally like dive into the city, everyone's kind of used to that small town vibe of Kansas City. Like, yeah, it's a city, but like it's small. Or like some of us, I ain't gonna cap. Like I grew up on the outskirts, so I'm not technically Kansas City. I'm Independence, but like you know that small town vibe, like not huge, nothing. It feels as if it's not cracking.
Yeah, like it's like we know it's a big city, but it's like it's nothing. It's like you don't know of like the excitement about it till like you just walking straight downtown and then it's all right there. Like,
facts. Or until you get older. I feel like for me, it's been like as I got older and started to get out more and like when you're like 17, 16, everyone goes to high school, goes to practice, and then like hangs out at their houses where their parents live and like have friends over, but that's pretty much out. They don't really explore too much. Maybe they'll do some little things like go to the memorial building at night and like hang out in high school. But like once you get older and people start getting like their big boy jobs and they start getting apartments downtown or in Westport or in River Market, then you really start to explore different areas, or like you meet somebody from college who's you know grew up on a different side of town that you've never been to, and it's just like as you get older you get to experience it more. Like I never really rocked with Kansas City, to be honest, like all my life until I moved back in like September and I decided to like jump into the city. And I feel you on that. Like we really actually got a big city. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. It really feels like so many people hate Kansas City. Like so many people really dislike KC, and I'm like, it has so much to offer. It's just like I don't know if it's the attitude that's kind of making it kind of like a murky area to be around or what, but I just feel like the hate more than I feel the love for KC. But I feel like it's kind of getting better with us winning the Super Bowl and all that.
For sure. And I feel the same way. I think what it is it goes back to again the small town vibe of the city and the hype behind big cities like New York City, Miami, Chicago, LA. Don't get me wrong. Like I lived in LA and a little bit in New York, and I love LA. Don't get me wrong. But like when you feel like you only can succeed in cities like that, when you feel like only cool people are there, when you like adopt that negative mindset, it's super easy to look at your city in a negative way. And I'm guilty of that. That's what I did, and that's why I've been able to like it this time, is because I was like, instead of just being like, oh, Kansas City doesn't have what I need. Like, I need more. Like, I need more creatives. I can get these things done faster in New York or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, bro. Find your tribe. Really go out there. Take your time to investigate the city. Go to all the events. Go to all the experiences. Go to all the low-key restaurants. Like, and you'll start to develop a love for the city. And you'll start to find things that are like, you know, authentic to Kansas City. And you'll start to be like, yo, it's my hood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it takes time. I feel you. I definitely feel that hate too, but I feel like, as you said, like with the Chiefs winning and their hype being brought to Kansas City, and you know, we could give a lot of it to our sports teams for, like, you know, obviously the Royals haven't done well the past 2 years, but they won the World Series a few years ago, went back to back. Chiefs like have had like 2 good seasons, obviously won the Super Bowl this past year. And then we have like the hype of Patrick and Travis and Tyreek and all. And I think like this like energy that's being brought into the city is like helping people who are, which I think is whack, but people who are followers, like, you know, followers. A lot of people are followers. They're like, oh, my city won. Oh, people are starting to pay attention to the city. Yeah, I love Patty.
Yeah, I'm from KC.
Yeah, it's KC. You know what I'm saying? And
everybody
so,
go get a t-shirt.
Right, exactly. Yet in their head, they still like secretly hate the city, but they just capping for energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, I feel them, but it's also like, bruh, just take some time, investigate the city, and you'll find dope people like yourself, and you know, that do artwork. Hey, when do you remember? What's like your earliest memory of like beginning to draw or color or any type of artistic, creative action? What's the earliest memory?
I remember when I was little, this was like when I would write a lot, and I would carry around a notebook and write like a lot of short stories in it. And like I filled one up with like a book, but I lost it like a long time ago. Yeah, like I was kind of like to myself a lot when I was little, so I would just fill my time with like writing or painting or something like that. So my earliest is probably that, carrying around that notebook. And then I remember, I think I was like 6 or 7. My mom got me like this step-by-step drawing book. And so that really kind of helped me see like how I could like kind of work with what I already had, like what God, whoever, the creator already gave me, and like just kind of, I don't know, play with that. Yeah, so I've never really had art classes like I wanted to. That's why I want to go to school for it, because I feel like there's a lot of like foundational things I'm missing out on, you know, different stuff like that probably would have helped me if I learned it when I was younger, you know.
Absolutely. I think there's definitely like a certain swag that comes with individuals who learned on their own, but like you said, like the importance of fundamentals and like a foundation always are like fun to like. It's kind of like, you know, say you never were taught how to draw a triangle, and then like so all your life you know how to draw a triangle now, but you figured out your own way, and you were like, okay, I'm gonna put a dot here, a dot here, a dot here, a dot here, then I'm gonna like slap the paper and then I'm gonna like make a triangle, right? And like it's cool, it's your own little process, but then somebody comes and teaches you and they're like, yo, just go like this, and you're like, oh, like, yeah. So I feel you on that. Have you considered like applying or going to the art institute here?
Yes, that's actually, I'm in the process of transferring from Graceland University from Iowa. So I'm like paying off money there. And then I'm hoping by this spring I could get in to the Art Institute.
Sick. Yeah. I love it. And it's
local. Yeah, because I really want to get into, like, I love painting and all that, but I've always loved like animation, like as you can see from like little TV anime drawings. Like I've always wanted to kind of merge like the poetry I write with animation. So that's kind of something I'm working towards. Yeah.
Sick. That's sick. That's like a two combination, like like two things that could definitely combine to make something super dope. Like I already
Yeah.
just imagined like 37 things. But
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
that's
Just
sick.
like dope stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like you could go so many directions with that. Like
Hmm.
imagine, oh shit. Imagine a comic book that is just pure poetry though, but in like a poetry art form, but it was told a story, but it was like a comic book with your own anime. Damn, see, I'm trying
Yeah.
to tell you,
See,
son.
that would be dope. That would be
Yo,
dope.
there's so many dope things you can do when you're like a creative. Like low key, I'm jealous, but not like in a negative way. But that's sick. Like yo, like people who can draw, who can
I'm
sing.
on the Zoom call. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Here shortly, you'll see my niece like come jump on my back. Watch. But no, that's sick. So tell me a little bit about the different like specific different art. You mentioned short stories. You used to write short stories. You mentioned you're super into like animation and drawing. Um, and then you mentioned poetry.
Hmm.
According to your bio, an artist, which could mean music. It could mean all four of the things I just mentioned.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get I'm trying to transition from poetry to music. I'm kind of in like them murky waters right now, trying to like find, I guess, my vibe on a beat, pretty much.
For sure.
Like,
What inspired
cause
that?
um, I kind of my little sister. She's a really great singer, and just growing up around her, like I always wanted to be involved in music, but I never felt like I had the skill to really, and I still really don't. But now I'm like, why wait to try like to go that route when you don't know it could work or it couldn't? So we're actually gonna be working on some stuff together, kind of like a flowetry type vibe,
Sick.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Who are some musical artists that inspire you? Like when you're like getting in the car, all right, I'm gonna give you a mood. I'm gonna give you three different moods. You gotta give me an
Okay.
artist. Bet. All right. Number one. Unfortunately, we got to start with the sad mood. All right. So
Hmm.
you feeling a little down, you feeling a little sad, not anything traumatic like a person dying or anything, but you just in a little mood. You in a little funk. You like, all right, it's raining outside. I'm about to go on a drive. Who you putting on the aux cord?
Instantly thought of Frank Ocean.
All right, all
Instantly.
right. I feel
Yeah.
you. And do you have a go-to
Blonde.
song? Hey, okay, all right.
Probably a go-to song. If I'm real sad and it's like raining or something, probably Polly Jones from Channel Orange. That's a really good one. Yeah.
I feel that. I
Yeah.
feel that. I feel that. That's a good go-to. All right, mood number two. Mood number two. All right. So let's say you just get admitted into the Art Institute. Everything's going well, like your transfer papers, everything's solid, everything's lit, and you're about to like throw a little party. Like, what's the first
Mhm.
track you're gonna put on when people enter the venue?
Oh my God. Don't do that to me. When people enter, damn, I don't know.
So you
I ain't
lit,
even
like
thought that far.
you super teed up, right? Like you just like feeling good. People are showing up, the homies is coming through, like you feeling smooth. You like life is looking up. Like what you listening to?
Maybe I really like Yosemite by Travis Scott. That would be a good like walk in the party vibe.
Yeah,
Like it's just getting started.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you are two for two. Not that you could be wrong with any, but you are. Hey, these are two for two vibes. All right, vibe number three. Okay, let me see. Let me think about this vibe real quick. All right, boom. This is a similar vibe. This is a
Mhm.
similar vibe, but you just gotta go. You just gotta think of a different thing. So, boom. You just like drew this dope art piece. You posted on Twitter or Instagram. Somebody's like, "Yo, this is fire. I want to buy it for 50K." You sell an art piece, your first art piece, like selling or something. Boom, 50K. What's the mood? What's the mood? What's the song? You're like driving to go drop off it. You're driving to go drop off the painting or the drawing, and you just got Venmoed $50,000.
Mhm. I instantly this is gonna be funny, but I instantly thought of Brighter Day by Kirk Franklin. You know that song?
I do not, but
That
I do know Kirk Franklin.
old, like from 2006. Yeah, it's an old, like, just a very uplifting. I wanna be a Friday, you know, old
Hey,
Baptist church
hey, that's
song.
lit though.
Yeah,
That's why I laughed. I was like, hey, if it's Kirk Franklin, it's something lit, but definitely
yeah.
some spiritual vibes,
We
you know,
jumping,
uplifting.
flipping.
Yeah, that boy always
Yeah.
cracks me up. He always posting some photo looking sweaty, but I rock with him. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. Um,
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your modeling. So
Mhm.
I see like you know some modeling type photos on the
Mhm.
IG. I see you posted that you're like into modeling. Like talk
Mhm.
about like the first time you was like, you know what, I want to do a photo shoot, or you know what, I want to get into modeling. Talk about what inspired that, and then talk about what you've been doing lately, or what you plan on doing, or your vision for modeling specifically.
So I started modeling actually when I was probably like 9 or 10. I worked with this company called Hoffman. And they had like this little modeling training boot camp that you go through for like a certain amount of time, and they teach you like how to walk, how to just kind of build yourself build yourself up positively, but in like a professional way. So that was like my first time, but then like I strayed from that and was like, because I kind of saw like who all the girls were, and like it didn't look like me. So I'm like, okay, there's no room for me in this. So I kind of just strayed from that. But probably what inspired me like this year to really get into it is just I got tired of like thinking about doing it, because like that's my problem. Like I kind of think about doing stuff more than I actually do it. So I was like, I just need to start doing it, like, and then see what happens. Like, yeah. So that's kind of what inspired me. I just got tired of thinking about it.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's like an important point to come to just overall when it comes to like all things in life is like, yo,
Mhm.
I've been dreaming about it. I've been thinking about it. I've been considering it for so long. Why not
Mhm.
just take action? And it doesn't have to be like the thing that takes you to like great heights. It doesn't have to be something that works out, but it's all about just doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Nike says, and you don't got to do it forever. Like try it for 3 months. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Like I did 20 photo shoots in the past 3 months. I'm really like not fucking with it. Or like
Mhm.
I've done these and this is amazing. It makes me happy every time I do it. Now you know this is something you want to keep trying out. You know what I'm saying? But like you
Yeah.
said, if you're just chilling thinking about it, it's like you never can feel how you feel.
Exactly. Yes. I just got tired of that feeling. And yeah, pretty much. Something I'm working on. I actually have two shoots this week. One Thursday, one Friday. With the artist, not artist, photographer from St. Louis. She's coming down and doing like a 2-day KC shoot. So I'm gonna be working with her with whatever concept she has. But kind of the image I see my modeling going is more avant-garde, like more like I really like playing with like lights and like shadows and like different textures with images. So I do want it to have like me in it, but kind of mean more than just like my face, if that
Gotcha.
makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Cause
it does
like,
make sense.
yeah, like it, like you could be like, I can be pretty, yeah, but like what else is there? What else is the picture telling you? Like what story is it telling you? Kind of. So I kind of want to like tell stories with the pictures and like with my poetry like underneath it. So that brings into like another thing I'm working on, which is a website. So I'm trying to get that formulated and curated all pretty
I
to
love it.
release.
What
Yeah.
like what inspires your poems? Like is it different moods for different days? Is there a specific style? Is there a specific topic on all your poems? Like talk a little bit about your poetry, what inspires it. Um yeah.
I really what inspires it is sometimes I like to listen to beats, and that kind of gets like my brain like moving with poetry. Or if I like just gone through something like emotionally, like that'll definitely like put me in the headspace. I don't know, like for some reason, like just going through something like not really traumatic, but kind of maybe pulls at my heart, just gets me in the mood to like write something. So that kind of what inspires me.
Would you say that like writing is your way of coping with certain emotions, or is it, or yeah?
Definitely. Definitely. Like if I don't write, like, cause I'm a big overthinker. So like if I don't write, get it out, get the word vomit out, whatever it is, then it's just gonna be like swirling around in my head, you know?
I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah.
So tell the people, you have a busy day the next day. Like, how do you go about, what is a typical day of Monae?
Hmm.
Hey, that rhymes. A typical day of Monae. But yeah, what does a typical day in Monae's life look like? And like, how do you structure it? How do you make sure you're like doing shit you want to do and need to be
Hmm.
doing? Like, yeah, how do you put together a day for you?
Well, usually when I first wake up, I try to like roll over onto my yoga mat or I'll go for like a bike ride. Since the weather's been really nice, I've just been utilizing the outdoors. I'll go on a bike ride up uh, the street to like this lake by my house. It's like this small little lake, but I'll go there. I'll ride around the whole thing and then ride back to like, I find a certain spot and like meditate for like a good 15 minutes and with my crystals, like just to like really ground myself that morning. And then I'll come back home from that bike ride, do my other little yoga workout, and then I'll usually read. I got too many books I need to get through, so I've been reading a lot. Um, or or I'll try to like sketch something. I've been doing like daily morning sketches just to kind of get that creativity going in the morning. But yeah, that's really how my day starts. And then from there, it's like by like 12 or 1, it's like work. I start working. Yeah.
What like when did you first get into two things? Like, well, like I guess they all kind of coexist,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. So crystals, yoga, and meditation. Like when did those three things enter your life, and what role do they play in your life? Like how important are they to you? What do they help you with?
Um, they first entered my life probably, I'll say my sophomore year of high school. Sophomore year, I really started to try to like research more like the spiritual side of living more than the religious side, just because I grew up Christian and stuff, and I never found any fulfillment in it. Um, what else? And I was just really depressed too, like just a very depressed adolescent. And so I'm like, okay, something something isn't right. So I'm like, I need to try something different to kind of, so I could feel better. So it just, I don't know, it just made me feel a lot better. Like I was doing something more with purpose, kind of, I guess.
I
Yeah.
feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel like we all just like move through life way too fast. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like life is already fast naturally. Like you know,
Very
like
true.
it already just goes as it goes. But we don't have to move at the pace of the world. We can still move at our own pace. And I feel like when we all get caught up in like what's going on at school, what I need to be doing to make money, what I need to be doing
Mm-hmm.
to like be happy, who do I need in my life to be happy, who do I not need in my life, you know, and then like getting caught up in TV and drama and issues
Mm-hmm.
in the world and the news and
Yep.
like everything just comes at our face so fast. And like one of my biggest problems is waking up and the first thing I do is just,
Yeah, check my phone.
all right.
Yes.
And I'm like, yo, why am I doing that? I'm just, you know, so I do a few things, but one of the things I do is also personal training. And like
Mm-hmm.
what I tell my clients is like when you're sleeping, you're in a parasympathetic state, which basically is a state of relaxation where digestion happens, where your body
Mm-hmm.
resets and recovers. And like when you wake up in the morning, you're just coming out of that and you want to ease out of it into your day. You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
just like stimulate everything immediately. As soon as you look at your phone, and you're hit with text
Mm-hmm.
messages, you're hit with the news, you're hit with social media, you're hit with like so many different thoughts, you know, as soon as you open your phone, because there's so much content. Like right now, I have a TikTok pulled up, a DM from Instagram, two text messages from two different individuals. Like,
Yeah.
shoot, like I know it's my background photo, but a background photo of Nipsey Hussle. Like, there's just so many thoughts. If I saw that in the
Mm-hmm.
morning, it's like, okay, why is she texting me? I've never talked to her in a while. Like, oh, why? oh, my girl said this,
Yeah.
boom, like, oh, dang, TikTok, I don't want to look at TikTok right now. What about Trump? Is Trump gonna really cancel TikTok? Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, and this is like in the first 10 seconds of waking up. We're shot into a sympathetic state where our nervous system just acts up and flares up immediately. And it's like we don't take time to like really set into ourselves, really take time to meditate, think about, like you mentioned the word purpose, like what purpose we have, on earth. Let me remind myself of my purpose today.
Yeah, it really does. It really does help me remind myself, like, because for so long, like, I really felt like I didn't have a purpose. I didn't even think I lived 20. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm here. So now, what can I do to make this life like what I envisioned for it, kind of.
I feel you. I love that. I love that. Well, first and foremost, I'm glad you found meditation, yoga, and the
Me
crystal
too.
vibes. It's mad important to find something you can find like solace in and find calming. And from there you can find, everything else. You just need to, it's like your compass. It's like a solid place to like have a compass. It's like if I don't have that, then my compass is knocked off the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. I love that. Sorry I went on a little rant there, you know what
Oh
I'm
no, you're
saying?
good.
So Kansas City, back to Kansas City, and back to Kansas City being like a vibe and turning into a poppin' city. Like, I got a question. Do you foresee yourself, and don't feel guilty for all the Kansas City listeners or to me, but just be honest with yourself. Do you foresee yourself staying in Kansas City the rest of your life? If not, like, are there any other places that you are interested in checking out at least that are like on your radar for visiting or trying to live in for a little bit?
Yes. Yes, there are different places. No, I don't plan on staying in KC my whole life. I actually want to invest in different properties in different cities so I can have different places to go. If I do get tired of staying in KC, I will go to like maybe New York, or one place I definitely want to have like a house at is in Florida. Like that's always been a place I loved going to, loved visiting. I don't know. It's just something about that vibe. Like I love it. I've never been to California, so I definitely want to go there and feel that art scene out. But yeah, so definitely not staying in KC my whole life.
Are you more of a beach person, woods, foresty person, or a mountainous vibe, like snow vibes? Like which three of those vibes are your vibe the most, do you think?
Beach all the way. I'd rather be like naked at the beach chilling than in the forest. I mean, the forest is cool because that's what we got here. Like I
Right.
appreciate it, but I'd so much rather be at a beach.
I feel you. Hey, the beach is a vibe. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you. The funny thing is when I was like, I bet you everyone in LA can vouch and say the same thing for themselves. The funny thing about living in Cali, so I lived in like three major cities. I lived in Santa Cruz, which is like kind of like right outside of, like an hour out of San Francisco, but it's still a beach town. It's like a small ass beach town. And then I lived in San Diego and I lived in LA. And in all three places, for the whole time I lived there, I literally would go to the beach maybe once a year or twice a
Oh
year.
my god.
And most people it's the same, bro. I promise you. Like when you move out there, it's like, okay, like you go like 6 times in the first 2 weeks. Like every weekend you're going twice or 3 times, whatever. You might hop on the train just to go see it after work or something. But then once you get in like the routine of your life, like going to shoots, going to music videos, going to your day job, going to this, blah blah blah, jumping back and forth, you like think on it and you're like, damn, I ain't been to the beach since 7 months ago.
Yeah.
It's funny, but I mean, it does make the beach that much more like cool. But then it pisses you off because you're like, dude, I live 10 minutes away from the beach. I'd never come.
Yeah.
But
You
nah,
never
it's definitely a vibe. And like the cool thing about California, with the weather being like lit all year long, is like even though the summers can be pretty hot and like dry, at least you have like the rest of the year to be at the beach chilling with some
Yeah.
moderate weather. It's not like the sun's burning your face apart or anything like that. It's like it's lit. But
Yeah, that's what I need. Because KC, the weather is too wishy-washy for me.
it is
It's like,
wishy-washy. Somebody posted one of those posts on Facebook like where it was like, y'all ready for this? And it's like a picture of like the highway right next to what's it called? I can't remember. Anyways, close to downtown, and it's like the roads filled with snow, and I'm like,
yeah.
Why y'all had to remind me? Why y'all had
Right, like I was enjoying my summer.
Facts. So as I was scoping through your IG, I saw a few posts related to like social justice movements, situations that are
Hmm.
happening in the world right now. One that just happened super recently, two that have happened super recently, one like yesterday or the day before. But I just wanted to ask you, how important is it for you or just artists in general to speak out about specific like social justice issues that are prevalent in like society right now? I'm on a call in society right now.
I think, I don't want to put too much pressure on like all artists, but I know for me, it kind of feels like I have no other choice but to speak up because it's like, I don't know, it's like those, like Breonna Taylor, like she wasn't even given the chance to speak up. So it's like, who's going to speak up for her, you know? So it's just kind of like we have to because they weren't even given the chance. Like,
Facts.
just, yeah.
Facts. How like one thing like I read an article recently and there it was called the Trayvon generation. And it was just talking about like us just growing up through obviously every it's just sad that it like continues to happen, but it's like every generation has had to go through like a generation of like there's specific like
Hmm.
huge obviously this happened. One thing people forget is that this is like happening more than once a month or once a year. Like
Yeah.
these situations happen all the time. The
Every
thing
minute.
is, exactly every minute. The thing is, and there's probably even worse situations that are very obviously racist, like very obviously
Hmm.
motivated by hate. And obviously these other ones have too, but like, there's some that probably happened that would have no argument if we got the audio
Hmm.
and got a video of it and stuff like that. But the thing is, not everything goes viral. Not everything blows up. Not everything is caught. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we're in a generation where obviously we have an advancement of technology in there and we're catching
Hmm.
way more. Like there's phones on every street. Somebody's just videotaping something. So it's like we're seeing it way more often, but this happens all the time. All the time.
Hmm.
And it's just interesting to like think about the specific ones that have gone like super viral and it just being on TV, replayed over and over again.
Hmm.
It's like I can remember the audio 911 call for the Trayvon Martin situation. I remember in like what was like eighth or seventh grade, like or ninth grade maybe, all walking to school with Arizonas and our hoodie up, like to like
Hmm.
stand with him. And I was like 14. That's like 10 years ago. And it's like. And then I remember with Mike and St. Louis and like
Hmm.
talking about it at school and like doing like walkouts at school and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember
And
all
it's like
that.
and it's like back to back every year. And it's like it gets so exhausting and it makes me feel really bad for people, like your parents maybe who have been alive for so long and have had to see this for like just so many years.
Hmm.
And it's like what when is it gonna stop and what can we do to like stop it? So with that being said, what are some thoughts you have on like what are some things that people can act again like not even a pressure thing but just community, we're one globe, we're one world, we're one
Hmm.
people. Like what are some ways you think people who don't know what to do right now can do to like stand up for justice, stand up for people of color? What are some it can be anything. What are some things you think people can do? There's somebody at home listening to this right now who hasn't like feels sad, feels bad, but doesn't know
Hmm.
what they can do to help. What would you say?
I would say first, I mean, the easiest thing you could do is just go to social media. See, like, sadly, see what death is trending. But if you don't have social media, you can look in your city, like in your town, like talk to your, even if you don't have friends that are people of color, talk to people of color. Like, just kind of like understand us more as humans and less more as like images you just see, like, I don't know, like through media and different stuff like that. Just try to understand us instead of just having your own like predisposed idea of what it means to be a Black person and how a Black person reacts and how, like, yeah. That's kind of the first thing I would say. It's just like, because you can only do so much. Like, I can only do so much making a post, like, about something that happened miles away. But you got to really look, like, at what's going on in your city, your town. Like with us, like, we had Donnie Sanders, who passed. That was a relative of a friend of mine who I went to high school with. He was shot by the police. So it's just, like, different stuff like that. You got to advocate for, like, just your area too, as much as you do for social media, pretty much.
Right. And like, that's a great point. Like, that's the direct way most of us can really make a change in the world. People often ask that question, like, I can't make a change. There's so many people. I'm just one person. It's like, yo, start at home. Start at home. You start in your household. Start in yourself. Start in your heart. Read a book. You know, there's so much. There's so much you can do to educate yourself. And then going forward, like, just having conversations with your friends, with your, you know, if you want to be an ally, talk to your white homies, talk to your dad, talk to your grandpa, who have, like, these, like you said, predisposed ideas of what, you know, Black folks are like, or what their culture is, or what this is, what's that. No, like, talk to somebody, and then take that knowledge that you got, take that new information, and share it with your people. Like, share it with your community. Like, that is a change. Like, everything is just a domino effect in this life. You know, we often underestimate, like, how many people we really meet. But, like, imagine, you know, you didn't know something about how you could help the community. I share something. Boom. Now you have this knowledge. You go to the airport later this week because you're going to go visit a cousin in Florida. You're on the airplane. Some guy's talking to you. You share that idea or that knowledge. Now they're like, wow, I never thought about it that way. Now they take that, they land in Florida for a business meeting. They're in the middle of a business meeting. Their boss says some racist shit. they say something to their boss after the meeting's over about, like, a new way to think. Now the boss is like, wow, I really am out here being racist. And then now you know, like, everything is a
just
domino
calling
effect.
people out. Like, 'cause sometimes, like, not to say people, like, don't know, like, they may not know, they may be oblivious to their racism just because of how embedded it is in, like, white culture and just American culture, kind of, like, so they may be, like, kind of oblivious to it. So you do got to call them out. But if you still call people out and they still don't change, I don't know, you just gotta, you can only do so much.
Facts, but that's beautiful in itself, like, just planting the seed.
Yeah.
You know, like, people often hope or think that the seed's gonna flourish immediately. It's like, you plant seeds every day. Every day Monae wakes up and does her meditation and does her yoga and rides her bike. She's planting a seed that she's nourishing. You know what I'm saying? And it may not turn into a tree in the first year or the second year or third year, but that foundation, that process, that routine, that sequence may turn into something like you never imagined, you know, extreme happiness, an amazing relationship, a good job, a new connection with self, a new connection with family, just because of, like, the sequence of things you were doing for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody shares a message about social justice reform, or talks about prison reform, or talks about what Black Lives Matter means, and tells that to somebody who is currently ignorant, not in a bad, I mean, you know, just an ignorant individual who's not trying to say they're a bad person, but they're just ignorant. Literally means without knowledge. And so you talk to an ignorant individual about it, and you share that information. They may not want to believe it or accept it at first, but you planted that seed. So the next person that comes along is going to water that. And the next person that comes along is going to water that. And the next person, and the next TV show they watch, and the next article they read, and the next, you know what I'm saying? It's just watering until that tree finally grows. They may be 97 on their deathbed when the tree, like, you know, blows up, but regardless, it's lit. You know what I'm saying? 97 before death, or 7 years old, and they never developed, you know, bad feelings towards people of color. But either way, you just plant the seed, and you're doing your job right there. That is a brick. That's a brick you put into the world. That's something good you did for the world. And that applies to everything outside of racism, outside of outside of everything we see in the news right now, or things that have been happening for hundreds of years in America. Outside of that, just in your own life, happiness, joy, depression, like
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, sadness, anger, all these different emotions. That's like the best way we can help ourselves. The best way we can help others is literally just planting a seed.
I agree. I agree. That's
It's
how it
lit.
starts. Yes.
Facts. It's facts, and then it grows from there. So as a amazing woman artist, what do you find it more difficult to, I don't know, what word to use, function, move, network in like the creative world? Or do you think like that's not really something that you feel like maybe, like, let me give you an example if you didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand my question directly, but like, say, is it okay, you want to like make a song, but people are like, she's a girl, I don't really want her, she can't make a song, don't come in the studio,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, blah blah blah. Or like, obviously this is all dumb shit, but I'm just giving you examples.
Yeah.
But or like shoots or something because you're uh, a younger female or something. No, she may not be the best one, things like that. Have you faced any like challenges or difficulties for like around being a female creative or artist?
Um, I wouldn't say I faced any um outwardly from the world yet. It's more so internal.
Speak on that.
Like it's more just so like me having to get past like my own doubts about myself and like what I think I what I think I can't do, and like cuz like for so long I thought like of what I couldn't do. So it's like I never really developed on like what I can actually do. So like I'm just kind of pulling myself out of that mindset. I haven't really had any trouble like working with anybody yet. Everybody has been real supportive. I will just say I do have a hard time like more so just connecting with people, like different artists in KC, like and just finding like a good, I guess more so my circle. I haven't found like my my tribe yet, really. Yeah.
That's it. Hey, like, well, what I it's funny because like I can never shut up. I always talk. But nah, I was just gonna say like the thing is like the most important thing for like all listeners out there is the like like the ability to be aware. And like
Mm-hmm.
you just saying that right there, like, yo, it's been difficult and challenging to like find my tribe and I haven't found it yet, is like now you have a place you can work from. You know what I'm saying? Like when
Mm-hmm.
you're aware, when you're knowledgeable about what you're missing or what you want to develop, like now you have something you can attack and work on. So it's like, okay, haven't found my
Yeah.
tribe. Boom. Now I can like write in my notebook, what are the type of people I want to be around? Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a foundation set when I meet people like, yo, like, boom, okay, this is like a vibe. Maybe I'll revisit them and their friends or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but also, this is off topic but on topic at the same time. Sorry,
Yeah.
brain jumps
You're
around.
good.
Y'all should read the book, and you as well whenever you finish all the books you already have.
Mm-hmm.
The book Tribes. It's more of a marketing book, but Tribes by Seth Godin talks about the
Okay.
importance of having a tribe, being and like the innate human necessity. I don't know if I used the
Mm-hmm.
correct words there, but anyways, the human necessity. I tried to
Yeah.
use a big word that I didn't really know. Anyways, the human necessity to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of a tribe, and how like people who don't have a tribe often like, anyways, it's a great book. But speaking of books, tell
Yes.
me a few books that you're reading right now or that you're interested in finishing that you have.
One really good book I just got finished reading was what the hell's the name? Hold on. It's right there. Let me just go grab it. Hold on.
Yeah, snatch it up. Show the people at home.
Okay, it's a few.
Oh, and we see Travis Scott in the back. Oh, never mind. That ain't Travis Scott. Yo, that's Frank
That's Frank
Ocean.
Ocean.
I know. I was like, that's Frank Ocean. I don't know why I called her Travis Scott.
But this book, The Inner Tradition of Yoga by Michael Stone, it was a really good book. I just got finished reading it, and I started reading it because I was doing yoga, but I didn't know like the language of it and what I was actually doing. I was just following YouTube videos, you know.
I'm glad you read up on that.
Different shit like that. So I'm like, that book really helped me kind of know what the poses mean and like how that integrates with my body and like my breath too. It was really deep. But it was very like, I like to read stuff that reads like kind of like poetry. So the writer, like he's a very like poetic writer, so his words are kind of like I don't know, like fancy and stuff. But it was really cool to read. And then another one that I really love that I think everybody should read is this Asata.
Oh, I ain't never heard of that. Talk about it a little bit.
This woman is like a badass woman. Okay, so she was a part of like when the Black Panthers first started getting popular, and she got in trouble with a few of her colleagues. They got pulled over by some police. At this time she was pregnant, and this is when like she was in like the height of the Black Panther movement, and so she got pulled over by some police, and then it was like a whole shootout happened, and so her friend died, and then she wakes up in the hospital and they're trying to pin like the cop's death on her. But she was shot, she passed out, like she had nothing to do with it, right? So while she's in the hospital, she goes through so much, like the cops are torturing her, trying to make her, and this is a real woman, like Assata Shakur. She was Tupac's aunt. Yeah, so she was in the hospital getting tortured and shit. They're trying to pin this death on her. She goes to trial. She ends up at Rikers Island. Have you heard of Rikers Island?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Rikers.
Yes, so she ends up there, ends up escaping, and is now living in Cuba. And the United States tried to get her extradited, but Cuba's like, fuck y'all. She ain't do nothing wrong. Pretty much, she had her baby in jail. Her daughter's still here, like in the United States, but she's still living in Cuba, like peacefully. Like ain't got to worry in the world. So yeah.
Wow.
I want to make a movie out of this. So anybody listening, any film directors, writers, if y'all want to work on a movie together, hit me up, please.
That's lit. That's lit. Hopefully some listening. Yeah, if that turned into a movie, I'd be lit. I want to read that. I had never heard that story before, so that's sick.
Yes, and it talks about this FBI program that was run by J. Edgar Hoover called COINTELPRO. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So that is one of those. It was like a lot of those people who went in to try to like dismantle the Black Panthers, dismantle every movement, and a lot of people think like they still like the COINTELPRO isn't around, but a lot of people think they still have like those type of covert operations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And most definitely, that's all I gotta say. That's anybody who doesn't think it's not a conspiracy. You know how people like try to say certain things are conspiracy. That's like one thing that's absolutely not.
It's a fact.
We literally we do it in country and out of country. Mm-hmm. Our country has like a habit of building up, setting up coups that like end up overturning governments, that turns into wars,
and then leaving a vacuum.
Literally go research it, man. Ain't no goddamn conspiracy theories. But anyways, we've talked about so many things. Overall, I'm just glad we were able to have this conversation.
Yes,
podcasts are like two-part. They can be like so many different vibes. My favorite thing about my podcast is I'm not super like strict about it,
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like certain people like try to like, no, we only are going to specifically talk about this. We only can provide information. Nah, fam, like let's just chill. Let's just have a conversation. Mm-hmm. If people listen, they listen. If they don't, they don't. But overall, like it's just a way for other people to learn about other cool ass people in the world. You know what I'm saying? If I could describe my podcast in the least fancy way, because like obviously I try to describe it in a fancy way, like in the descriptions and everything, but like if I was to describe it in the least fancy way, it's like a chance for individuals to get to know cool ass people. Simple as that. Like simple as that. I don't interview. I try my best not to interview anybody I don't really care about. Like obviously I love all humans, don't get me wrong, but like in terms of interest, like these are people I find socially interesting. Like if you would have booked a
Mhm.
podcast, I want to look at your page and I thought you weren't interesting, I probably would have just canceled it. No
Yeah.
cap. And it would have hurt somebody's feelings, but sometimes you just gotta be true to yourself. Like when it comes to the podcast, I don't want to have
And
somebody
your
on here that
brand, yeah.
right in the brand. Like I don't want to have somebody on I don't think is dope, and you proved me right. Like I saw your IG, I was like, oh, she seems
Thanks.
dope. She seems like she has a good spirit. Hopped on here, good spirit. I'm over
Yeah.
here hyping Monae up on live on the podcast. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna ask you two last questions,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna slide out of here. So I'm gonna ask you three questions actually. A random ass question just because I want to see your answer because I feel like it's gonna be interesting. Number
Okay.
two is gonna be another question about being a creative, and number three is gonna be a inspirational question. Okay, so number one, do you believe in aliens or ghosts? Why or why not?
Yes, both.
Both. All right. Why?
Because I feel like our planet, I feel like, okay, we're just one galaxy out of the billions. Like, space is way larger than we think it is. I feel like there's got to be other life forms out there. And also, NASA finally admitted to UFOs being real. So,
They did.
so yeah, there's aliens, no doubt.
Ain't that
Ghosts,
some?
I haven't like had contact with ghosts, but like I'm I'm good at like feeling energies, I would say, and like I can feel like when something doesn't feel right, but I wouldn't necessarily say I felt a ghost, but people told me they've seen ghosts and I can't dispute what other people seeing. Like if you
That is
saw
a
it with
fact.
your eyes, like I can't.
I can't argue with you.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. You really can't. Like you really. That's actually a great point. You really can't argue. It's like I can't tell you you didn't see it. So I mean,
Exactly.
shoot. Facts. All right. Boom. Say this is like not one of the questions, but I have a follow-up question to that. So you meet an alien, and like the alien becomes your best friend, and the alien's like, name me human, right? And like ask you to name it a name, like because maybe in their world they don't have names. So
Hmm.
like it's like name me human. What are you gonna name it?
Damn.
Imagine it doesn't. There's no genders in this alien population.
I like I feel like something with the Z would slap. For some reason. Like something with the Z would be dope for alien. Maybe Z, I don't even know. I don't even know Z names. Like
Hey,
maybe Zozo or something. Just
Zozo.
something.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking Zatara and Zico.
Ooh, that's dope. That's futuristic.
It is,
Zico.
right? Like I kind of want to name my future son Zico now.
That's kind
So
of dope.
that's
Zico.
hard. I ain't gonna cap. Shout out to me. Hop off. All right. But okay. Part two question. Is there a pet peeve you have like as a creative, not with anybody else? Maybe it's just like maybe there's something that pisses you off when you're doing poetry. Maybe there's something
Hmm.
pisses you off when you're like creating art. Like what's a pet peeve of yours when it comes to life as a creative?
Um, pet peeve. Is when it comes to me as a creative, just finishing a project. Like if I start something, like I just need to finish. That's probably my biggest pet peeve about myself is that sometimes I don't always like finish my paintings or finish a poem. I'll leave it at like, okay, I don't know what else to write. So, and then I'll never come back to it, but it's just like maybe in that time I didn't have like all the inspiration, so I needed a break. So yeah, I should probably go back to a lot of my old poems and finish.
Hella content in the drafts waiting.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Now, the bonus final question.
Hmm.
You're at the
In
end
the
of your
Zoom. Yes.
come in, come in.
What's up, Mom? What's wrong? I'm on a Zoom call.
Oh, I'm sorry, which end do I like?
For the sage?
Yeah.
You can like either end.
And I just go through the house or it's Yanni's.
My mama's starting to get into like more spiritual stuff now. So
Yeah. Hey, tell the listeners what happened. I heard the conversation that was lit. She came in to ask you about how to sage.
yeah, she didn't know like which ends to light. I'm like, you can light any end, because it was just a bundle that you can light like both ends. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and she just didn't know like if she should like go, like what exactly she should do. But it's easy. You just like, go throughout your house, have your windows open so the energy can actually clear out, because you don't want to sage with your windows shut, because then it's just like circling
All
back.
trapped in.
Yeah.
I learned about saging, and like that like became a part of my life when I was in LA. Like honestly, all like spiritual things, like not all spiritual things. Like first off, I'm like a spiritual and religious individual, but like all spiritual things in regards to like the importance of meditation, in regards to you know, I guess you could consider this spiritual, but like law of attraction, like affirmations, sage, crystals, like all these things I had no idea about until I moved to LA. And for like the first few months, like honestly, it kind of scared me. I ain't gonna cap.
Why?
Like I don't know. Like I was so used to like gritty Kansas City, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like yeah, I was just so used to that. Like everything before I moved to California, everything like out of high school was like, just gritty.
Yeah, I
Like, I
feel
don't
you.
know.
No, Kansas
Like,
City is very gritty.
yeah, and like on top of that, like none of the homies was really like on that type of time. Like I said, gritty. The siblings wasn't on that type of time. Gritty, like I mean, I'm not saying they. Anyways, long story short, I just wasn't used to it. So when I got out there and people were like people I was living with or around were like, you really have to, say your affirmations each morning and make sure get this bad energy off of you, Collis. And like, I'm not making fun of it now because I rock with it now. But then I was like, yo, son, if you don't get this sage out my face.
Get that smoke out my mouth, bro.
Yo, I used to be like, what are you doing, bro? Get out of my face. But now I rock with it. Now it's the vibe.
Yeah.
But no, the final question was gonna be, it's your last day on earth. Okay.
Ooh.
Your grandchildren are sitting at your feet. You're in a chair looking down at them, right? Everything in your past, all your artwork, all your Instagram pages, all your Facebook pages, everything is deleted and gone. And all you have is one last sentence or paragraph to tell your grandchildren on how to live life. What are you going to tell them?
I would say when you live for you first, I'm really trying to put myself in the old mindset. I would say like when you live for you first, everything else will sort of kind of fall into place. Like not living like, I wouldn't say living for you, but just living for your purpose. Then everything else falls into place. That's all I got to say.
Hey, I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, and just dropping in and sharing your story. And I'm sure we'll have another conversation in the future so people can learn more about your story. But thank you for dropping in, and we most definitely got to do this again. But before we hop off,
yes,
plug the people to your Instagram. I know you said you're working on a website, so we'll plug that in the future when you make it. But right now, plug people to your Instagram. If people want to buy artwork, if people want to do anything, like where can they find you?
So definitely, I just operate mostly through my Instagram, Monae, MONAE.333, and on there you can. I really like to work with my clients when I do commission projects to kind of find what vision works for them. So on there is a link to my email. You can click that, and then that's where we can like start the conversation of if you want me to paint a picture for you, or I don't know, write a poem for you or something of that nature.
Lit. Go follow her, tap in with her. Everyone that listened to this full podcast, thank you. Please share, and don't forget to leave a 5-star review, as that does help the podcast grow and get out there to the world. And with that being said, this is the Culture Talks, your boy CIZZY, and the homegirl Monae are out.
Yes.
Salud.